everybody? Welcome back to Pop Takes, where you, the listener, get to sit at our dining room table conversation. With me, as always, is Christian Campos,
What's up?
Nick Fitzgerald,
Yes.
and I'm Johnny Gomez. Anyway, today's topic is going to be about movies, and specifically, right off the bat, comic book movies
Oh yeah, baby.
and pop culture movies, like, you know, those subculture movies that I feel like is all they make now.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
take it away, Christian.
Marvel movies are better. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it.
God.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say it because I know that's the spot this
Just
week.
because there's more money in them doesn't make anything better.
I just think the quality's better.
That's, I feel like, an undisputed fact.
Yeah.
That they're
their
better.
quality's for sure better. But I feel like if you took 8,000 shots at a target and
Oh,
somebody
yeah,
else
no,
took
that-
5 shots at a target.
That was my next point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because even the bad Marvel movies at this point are grossing.
And the thing is, too, it's with Disney. So they're getting shot out of, like, a high-quality revolver. And DC movies are getting shot out of a fucking pea shooter. You know, it's, like, it's give and take. But there are some, I feel like the highest quality DC movies take a dump on the highest quality Marvel movies.
No way.
You're tripping.
No way. Like what?
Dark Knight, for all the Christopher Nolan movies.
I guess.
But
But that's it. That's all you got. Green Lantern?
no. Wonder Woman was great.
I actually didn't see it.
You didn't see it?
Whoa, okay, so you didn't even come with a ball to play with, dog. You're going to come here and you're going to run a train on DC movies, but you don't even got a ball to play with.
At some point, you got to lose faith.
Justice League was
What are you
garbage,
talking-
though.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
Wonder
See?
Woman wasn't a perfect movie, though.
it was great, though.
It was great.
hella good.
It was good, but it's legitimately just the plot to Captain America 1, but in World War 1 instead of World War 2. There's an evil
Well, Captain
force.
America 1 was bad.
You're tripping.
That movie was
That movie's
not
great.
good.
Which
No.
one? The first one?
The
first
first
one's
one.
great.
It was pretty good.
It was just an hour and a half prequel.
I think it was an.
I not even
it was
prequel.
an-
It was
No way.
No, that's not what I meant to say. That's
It
not
was
what I meant to
fun.
say.
It was an
makes
origin movie.
sense. It was an hour and a half prologue.
But
is what I
that was
meant to
during
say.
the meat of when they were making origin movies.
Yeah.
But it's the same plot in the sense that there's an evil force empowering the Germans, and we have to
Mm-hmm.
go fight them, and we won't win the war unless we get rid of the secret power powering the
It
Germans.
was weird how parallel they were. I would say that.
It's not. There's a word for that. They did it on purpose, and they directly drew from it.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the two companies
know, there's a lot
have
of
done
words,
that
but-
as long as they've been around.
Of course.
That's true. But
Is-
Marvel's victim of that. Marvel is way dirtier for that.
No, I'm not saying anybody's better.
Yeah,
than,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying like, if there's one popular superhero, like the other one will make their version of it. Like it's just always how it's been.
Mhm.
Always.
yeah. Well,
Like, the weird comparison there is like Superman and Thor, though. Like I don't
no,
No,
it
really
it
see
doesn't
doesn't-
that.
that
one.
doesn't
Superman's
cut it.
better.
So many people say that, and I'm like, no way.
That doesn't cut it
So
at
does
all.
it
Superman
make sense?
is the first superhero, so that argument's over. Superman is the first superhero ever created. He's not the first costumed hero, but he's the first superhero. And look, original idea, yeah, it was very 1930s, but
I don't think Superman aged well. Like I'm just gonna go ahead and say it.
well, they made
Like,
him more powerful, and then they had to scale him back.
I don't mind the play that they do politically wise. I like people protest him in the movie and shit.
Mhm.
Oh, you know, you're
He's
too-
an alien.
Yeah, that type of
Earth for humans.
Yeah,
like,
that
You
it's
know,
a
like-
little piece of modern to go with.
it's cool.
You can't just have him the way he normally is. Like you
Yeah.
said, the aging is horrible.
Yeah,
if you
not
just
good.
do that.
Not good.
I disagree.
But so here's my thing with Marvel movies. When they're bad,
They
they're
suck.
bad,
They're bad. They're
dude.
bad.
They're bad.
They're-
Iron Man 3.
Bad.
Oh my god, Iron Man 3 was the
It was
worst.
pretty bad.
Dude, when,
Iron Man 2 is pretty bad too.
when
The
Pep-
first 3 Spider-Man movies.
Oh my God, no. We're not going there
I'm
yet.
just taking shots
No,
this week.
okay,
I'm
you're
taking all
firing
the
shots, and they're fired, and it's duly noted that you declared war. But guess what?
let him fire.
We're putting that to the side. We're
Are
gonna
we saving that for later?
We're saving
All
that
right.
for later. That is going to
All
be
right.
a major
All right, fine.
throwdown.
We'll just all right, fine. We'll just keep talking about bad Marvel movies. Daredevil.
Batman.
What?
Ben Affleck.
Oh, I said Marvel movies.
I know, but I'm laughing at the fact that he's in Daredevil too.
See, just so everybody knows, I feel like right now we're changing jerseys a lot here, but
Oh,
that's okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
so
That's fine.
here's the thing. That whole era is bad.
Yeah,
that was the
not
start.
good.
The Hulk.
Oh my god.
Hey, Ang Lee one or
Who was who was his bad guy? It was his dad, right?
yeah, the weird guy
Who
who like
played that
absorbed.
guy?
Oh, was it Jeff Bridges?
No, it wasn't Jeff Bridges.
It was a guy. It was like discount Jeff Bridges.
Keep going. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Some other bad
Some
ones.
crusty trailer park looking dude.
But yeah, that whole that whole era, yeah, very bad.
I don't know if the Incredible Hulk is much better.
What's your opinion on that one, the Edward Norton one?
It's about as bad.
I
Oh, I
think
thought that's
so.
the one we were talking about.
No, I'm talking about the
The Ang Lee
old
one that came out when we were little kids.
Oh, I don't think I ever saw that one.
Like
was talking
2000.
about-
I want to say
was
it came out in
talking
2003.
I was talking about the Edward Norton one. That one
That's
was not good.
Dead on, right? 2003. Yeah, Edward Norton wasn't good.
I didn't think that one was good.
I don't think it was
It
awful.
was okay.
I'm a
didn't
big
like it.
Edward Norton fan, so like it's
That's
like
fair.
biased.
I think that there's a problem with Hulk movies in general as standalone. I think Marvel realizes that. That's
That's
why
why
we
they stopped
haven't.
doing them.
Yeah, we haven't seen a Mark Ruffalo
Yeah.
standalone movie.
You know what?
Closest
it
we
could,
got was like Thor Ragnarok, where it was just those two.
you
That
know
was
the
a good movie.
You know the
I
direction.
enjoyed that movie.
The direction they're taking that Venom movie, I think would work for the Hulk, but they're obviously not gonna do that now.
Dude,
Yeah.
I think that movie looks great.
I mean,
I think it looks good. I don't think it's gonna be. I'm not, dude. People, I feel like, yeah, no. When I go into the theater, I'm not expecting to blow me
yeah.
away.
Let me give my disclaimer on superhero movies in general, since we're talking. Like,
Yeah.
everyone, especially in the era of Disney owning Marvel, everyone wants to put these movies on pedestals and Academy Award like levels, right?
It's crazy, yeah.
They're fun movies.
That's
it's a
all.
fun
That's
movie.
all they are to me.
It's a
Like,
fun
Yeah.
movie. Yeah.
It's crazy to me that like I enjoy the movies, but it's crazy to me that these are like the movies now. Like these are the movies that everybody's waiting for now.
yeah.
I have some thoughts. First, though, I want to roll back. So let's talk about you personally, guys. Like, what is your staple when you go to the theater or you go to the movies?
What do
Like,
you mean by that?
What is your benchmark for like what you want out of a movie?
See, I'm not a huge like movie buff. So
Yeah.
like honestly, if I walk into a movie and I walk out and I wasn't bored and it was just entertaining. And all I want to do is
Yeah.
just be entertained. And if I was entertained, then it's an okay movie. At least an okay movie. But like if it actually like engages me, then that's like a exceptional movie.
I just want some grit
But-
back in American movies. I want some grit. I want some Dirty Harry, Scarface. Like I want that to be. There's none of that
There's
anymore. It's
none of
everything's
that.
so sunshine rainbows.
Disney
everything.
owns everything.
I know, and that's why it's awful.
The three big like movie experiences anymore are Star Wars, Marvel, and just Disney movies. And obviously Disney owns
Exactly.
all of those.
But I want some grit, like the Dark Knight. I was saying that was
Yeah.
gritty as
Mhm.
hell. That was so gritty, and it was like, this is sick.
Yeah.
That's why I kind of think the Venom movie looks okay because it's got some. It kind of has that, but you don't find that anywhere. I just saw Jurassic Park. That was like so sunshine and rainbows.
Really?
It was
Even
disgusting.
Jurassic Park?
I
It was
don't-
terrible.
Again, I feel like this kind of leads into how our show works, meaning that you hate everything that everybody likes, and Christian likes everything everybody hates, and I have terrible taste. See, I didn't even bother.
We just all argue a lot. That's
Yeah.
that's the if you've been listening to these episodes and you haven't picked it up by now, we started this podcast because the three of us can't stop arguing
On Twitter.
all the time.
On Twitter, it's
yeah,
fun.
we would argue on Twitter all the time, and now we are just
Which
we
is a
have
great
show.
origin story. I love it.
100%.
amazing.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, let's get back to what we're saying. So
Yeah.
superhero movies, they're fun, they're okay, but like it's weird that they're like the big movies now.
I feel like you have to just kind of rope in just the pulpy kind of movies in general. 'cause
Yeah,
that's
you
what
were
I'm
you were
talking
asking
about.
us like our staple.
Yeah,
what's yours? Like what is
Oh,
staple?
yeah, sorry,
you
I was the
have?
only one who
So
answered that.
I that all bringing all that together, talking about our personal tastes, it was a qualifier for, I have bad taste. I'm very subjective and niche with my picks of movies. Like, I like movies and music in general, things, art that takes me somewhere. You know what I mean? That I can feel immersed in. But like, so obviously the first thing that comes to mind is what? Avatar, right? That's like the biggest.
Wait, Last Airbender or James Cameron?
James Cameron.
Okay.
That movie was cool. Like it was good. Like I enjoyed it. But that's
I don't understand how that was like. That's still the top grossing movie of all time.
Why'd you say that first came to mind?
No, that's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about immersive movies. But like,
Oh, okay.
but I think that there needs to be a good balance between world building and plot, and like I want to believe what I'm, and get behind what I'm seeing, like the characters. You
Yeah.
know, same thing that everybody else. You want to root for.
You
the
don't really get
characters.
that anymore.
You don't, yeah.
Well, because all they're doing with movies now is like stuff that's already been built on Star Wars and Marvel. That is,
Yeah.
like the Star Wars universe is already built upon.
My favorite movie is Forrest Gump. My second favorite movie is
Mhm.
Top Gun. My third favorite movie is probably Titanic.
Wow.
I'm just being real.
Stinkingest list,
That's
dude.
the
You can
worst
that
No
smells
way,
like
dude.
onions and
That's-
assholes.
Top Gun
That's
is amazing. It's everything you need in a movie. It's
that explains
just
why you're wearing aviators right now.
well, yeah, and I had a bad day. I had a bad day.
All right, Nick.
Anyway,
your benchmark for movies.
My bet. So like I was saying, like I gotta have some grit. Like I want like old school, like way American movies were.
For like every movie, you want that?
No, I just want more of it. There's zero of it.
Yeah.
There's absolutely zero of it.
Yeah.
Like I haven't seen grit in like an outplay. Like putting that in somewhere where it doesn't belong makes amazing movies. Like the last, like I said, The Dark Knight was like the last thing I can remember that was like that. There's maybe a few that I felt like good about, but to be honest, it's hard to judge. Like everything's a superhero movie.
Yeah.
Everything's a superhero
I
movie.
will say this. Upon your suggestion, this last weekend, I watched 2 films, but the first one was on your suggestion. That was John Wick.
Great
Great
movie.
movie.
Dude, that's
Loved
what
it.
I'm saying. We need more
That's
of that.
that's what I'm saying. I agree with you 100%. That's my right now where I am in my life. Like that's the kind of movie I want to see. It's a popcorn
Right.
movie. I don't have to think about it too hard. The
I haven't
guys,
seen it. Maybe I'll check it out. I'll
they-
probably watch
he's
it
an
this weekend.
assassin. They kill his dog, and he goes on a rampage. Great, solid, amazing.
All
That's
right.
that's all I want to see. Great action. I love Keanu
Right.
Reeves. The actor is important.
Yeah, like okay. Have you ever seen Dirty Harry?
No,
No,
Okay.
what's that?
Okay, that's Clint Eastwood. Like,
I know it's a
Oh
crime.
yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
crime.
Okay, yeah.
so
I
it's
know.
he's just like, you know,
It's been on
he's
TV
just-
when
so
I'm
he's just
chilling.
He's just hard edge cop.
Yeah.
But it's like the scenes. He's like driving a car with like a sandwich in one hand and a pistol hanging out the other hand, and then just going off. Like it's just grit, nasty, just American film.
Yeah.
And John Wick was just like that. It was perfect. Like
Yeah.
you want that. It's stupid to some degree. Like
It's
action
good, though.
movies. Like action
Well,
movies. Like
I just feel like it's nice when like a movie takes you out of the real world, but it's still in the real world. And that's something that superhero movies can't do because it's just all fantasy and it's all made up stuff. When you
So-
have something like like you just said, like a cop that's just shooting people or something, like it takes you out of the real world. It's like, whoa, this is crazy, but
Yeah.
it's like a real thing.
Fruitvale Station.
So
That's a serious movie.
I didn't see that yet.
That's-
Cop just shooting people.
that's,
Christian.
That's a
Oh.
that's a real.
All
Oh my
right.
God. All right, we're done.
You brought it up.
We're done talking about other movies. We're going back to superhero movies.
I actually had something else to say.
What was the last superhero movie you guys saw?
Infinity War.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
You didn't see it?
So here's my thing, and I know I'm missing like a big one, like coming into this conversation without seeing Infinity War.
Yeah.
You haven't seen
I
it?
was just super intimidated because there were so many other Marvel movies that I didn't watch because I didn't care, and it was like they played a role in that movie.
It's not huge.
I didn't see Black Panther, but I knew enough about it.
I didn't see
to
Black
not
Panther
need-
either.
Me
yeah.
neither.
Yeah. I and I heard it's really, really, really good. So
I just rewatched Deadpool the other day.
Great.
I haven't seen either of them.
Amazing.
Haven't
It's
seen
so
either of them.
good.
Haven't
You see
seen 'em.
2?
Not yet. I'm probably gonna see it this weekend.
Yeah. Someone.
I've been putting it on the back burner. Like every
Mine-
weekend, me and my
mi-
girlfriend say we're gonna see it.
Minor spoiler. I'm not gonna spoil it, but there's a character that shows up
In Deadpool 2?
in Deadpool 2. That was in one of the X-Men movies that was garbage.
Oh,
But
God.
they did him
It's,
right
it's
this
X-Men
time.
Origins, isn't it?
No.
So that was
it's
a
not
good-
big
that
deal.
was a good
It's
one.
not a big deal. It's Juggernaut.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
he's
gonna be cool.
sick. He's not the garbage one from number 3.
How did they do that? Because it's not a Fox
I haven't
property.
seen it. I don't know. I haven't
'Cause
seen
See,
it.
Marvel-
and that
Well, Deadpool is the same thing. He's part of the X-Force, so
Yeah, it's-
he's signed over with those rights as well.
With Fox?
Yeah.
So wait, did Marvel get? Because Disney bought Fox.
I don't know. I think what's going on
that
is
whole
I think
thing is so
I
convoluted.
think it's convoluted, and I think what's going on is they have the rights, but the thing is Disney is in there, and they're so powerful, and they're just bullying them to make stuff, and they're taking some percentage of revenue, and they want them to stay relevant with that stuff. They don't want them to burn off and make crap movies like Venom 2. They want that stuff to stay relevant, so that way when it comes time to get the rights back on them, they can keep building off of what it was. They don't have to do ground one and
Right.
put all that work and money in.
Well, just in general, they better get on it because the 2 best properties, they barely got Spider-Man back.
yeah, but they got it back.
But the 2 best properties that Marvel has, by far, are X-Men and Spider-Man. Those are the 2 best properties out of all of them. All of these other movies that we're talking about, Deadpool, Iron Man, all that.
Well, they
those
wouldn't
were-
be here if
they
it weren't.
wouldn't.
They would not be here if it weren't for those original X-Men and Spider-Man.
That's what I'm
movies.
saying. And those were B-list players. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those guys were bench warmers, and then they brought them up. And like
I mean,
Iron Man
there
was.
were superhero movies before that, but I think like X-Men and Spider-Man were the first ones, except for maybe the Batman movies. Those were huge.
Yeah.
But like those were the first times it was like,
I hate
The first superhero movie is Superman
Like-
with Christopher Reeve.
like, well,
that movie.
I'm
Sucks.
just
You're
saying,
tripping
like-
ass.
like
those
those-
first two movies are
those
great.
X-Men and Spider-Man movies, I feel like those were the first superhero movies that like brought people to the theaters to see
Yeah.
superheroes.
I remember
100%
those
right.
being huge when those came out.
And that's what I'm
well,
saying.
We were in like elementary school and like we were all fans of that stuff, but and it was like cool, like we could see these things on the big screen, like it was crazy.
Well, it was so limited back then too. Like anything
Mhm.
that came out superhero wise, it was like, oh, you're going out to see it. It was.
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
it's a whole different thing now. But back then, it was like, oh, dude, I remember Ghost Rider came out.
Mhm.
I
Oh,
didn't
man.
care about that superhero.
Right.
I hate Nicolas Cage, but like everyone was stoked to see that. You know,
Right, that's
it's,
true.
That's a different time.
I was
It's
into
weird.
it.
That's why even like I feel like even like that bad era that we saw that we talked about, like the Daredevil movie, like I saw Daredevil in theaters. I was excited
liked
about
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like it didn't age well. It's a bad movie.
But the director's cut's better with the subplot.
How much better could it be?
Yeah,
It's not much
I'm
better,
not taking
but
your opinion on that.
the playground scene is what ruins that movie. But there's good parts about that movie.
I don't think that can be ruined by one scene.
Yo,
It's definitely can be ruined by one scene. It's
Hey.
really bad.
have you guys ever seen Catwoman with Halle Berry?
No, I wouldn't go near that
I don't think
steaming
so.
pile of
You
garbage.
have to watch it. It's like The Room levels of humor.
God.
Like it is
Oh my.
such a bad movie that it's hilarious.
Wow.
It's hilarious.
Well,
You
let's
gotta
go
watch
through the
that.
tunnel of time real quick. The first superhero movie ever was the 1977
How about
or
we just start with the
1978.
first ones that we saw?
I was gonna say that next, but just because there's only really four. There's the four Superman movies, and then Batman 1989. Those are the only ones, at least, that come to mind. Those are the only major motion pictures that were superhero movies.
Yeah.
So we can really briefly, the first two Superman movies are great. Those were clearly
Okay.
the inspiration for the first two Spider-Man movies of the Holy Trilogy. And then
The
1989.
Holy Trilogy.
That's coming. That's coming. Don't you? You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about it. I got it.
All right.
I got a ball to play with. So 1989 Batman, Tim Burton. Okay.
Uh huh.
There's a lot of problems I have with that movie. I
Right.
don't like Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like him. I think he's goofy and campy and weird, and I just think that his lips are like protruding out of his face too hard.
Oh my god.
And they're shiny, and
That's
it's just
an
like
issue?
it's a big issue. He looks like a freaking rolled up croissant, dog. In his
Okay.
face, I don't like
Well,
it.
it's an issue when that's the only part of your face showing in that costume.
That's
guess
what I'm
you're
saying.
right.
And he can't move his neck.
Michael Keaton, what are you doing? Go home.
Yeah, and he's just like, oh look, it's Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
yeah, like, you know exactly who it is.
Anyway,
But those first two movies are great, Batman and then Batman Returns, and then Jack Nicholson's Joker. Like, yeah, it's goofy. Like we would put it on and laugh all the time. Like Nick and I, like when we would watch it, 'cause,
Yeah.
like that scene with the Prince song, and he's in the, But it's honestly great. It's honestly he did a good job. It was,
Yes.
but the inspiration for those, and that's what I was gonna move on to next, because now we're moving into the movies that we saw when we were kids.
Batman Forever.
Batman Forever. I'm glad
Batman
you brought that
and
up.
Robin.
Okay, that one sucks, and that one is
Um,
objectively bad.
But
Those,
hold on.
listen, everything Tim Burton did sucks.
I get these kind of mixed up.
You
sometimes.
only liked it because that was the only film adaptation of Batman you had at that time, and then
Batman-
other
The
things come
first
out.
two are okay.
No, those are terrible movies.
Well, he did it. He had
Those
a
are
vision.
Fucking
Hold on.
awful
Help me out here.
movies.
Help me out
Oh,
here.
God.
Because I mix these up a lot. So Batman Forever was the one with Mr. Freeze.
No, Batman Forever is one with Jim Carrey as the Riddler.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So that one.
Trash.
Yes.
I like
no,
that
I liked
one.
it. I liked
liked it too,
As a kid,
yeah.
at least, I
It was
really liked
great.
it. Which one was the one with Mr. Freeze? That was
Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah. Okay. So again,
So
good.
that's wildly. If you look up top 10 worst movies of all time,
Oh, I know.
almost all the lists have that as number one.
Yeah.
I loved it as a kid.
I
remember
loved
seeing
it as a kid,
I
but it was
remember-
probably because I was just a kid. I think it's nothing but nostalgia goggles. But growing up, it was like,
Well, I think that's what
there's
those,
Batman.
those
horrible now.
movies.
You
They,
will throw up in your
Yeah,
mouth watching it now.
dude, there's
I
a scene in
believe
that,
that.
movie. There's a scene in that movie where Robin flies through, like they're in a church, and and like Robin comes to like save the day, and he bursts through the stained glass, and when he bursts through the stained glass,
shape
the glass stays in the shape of his symbol. It's like, what is this dog shit?
So,
Like,
so people complain because they're like, oh, the lines are really bad too. Like Arnold
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger, like, what killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age. You know, like
Schwarzenegger
it's Schwarzenegger. But you love Arnold. We love Arnold.
that
I
guy
don't care.
became our governor.
Oh my god, dude.
He
And
went
then-
from Mr. Freeze to our governor.
Dude, but like all I'm saying is like, then that scene with the bat credit card is really bad too.
There's
but
so many. It's not even worth mentioning.
But
yet.
you have to
seriously.
recognize-
the whole thing was so corny.
This is what I was gonna move on to next. You have to recognize the source material, the philosophy behind bringing
I don't.
that to life.
No,
I
you
don't. That
don't.
movie
Yes, you
had
do.
No, that movie
Because
had like
the people-
$700 million budget.
Yes,
Stop.
That's fine. Budget doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it
in that
does.
sense.
It
Just make a
100%
good
does.
goddamn
Because-
movie.
No, it
It
doesn't.
100%
It
does.
absolutely
It
is a
100%
factor.
does.
I didn't say it wasn't. I'm just saying it doesn't mean as much as what you think it is. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase.
I
that.
want to know the
No,
exact.
I
hold
think
on.
it's, I think. Hold on, see, you never let anybody talk.
What are you talking about?
I think budget is a huge factor. Huge factor.
I want to know the exact number because I was talking to my ass.
It's
125
huge.
million.
It was big at the time.
125 million in 1990.
But my point is just that the people who made that movie were inspired by the Adam West Batman, which is the just same amount of camp and
Yeah,
goofiness.
exactly.
No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
hold up.
That's what I grew up with.
You said you liked Batman Forever. It's
Yeah.
the same people. So what's
Exactly.
what's the excuse
But
for that movie?
they doubled down. Is all I'm saying.
No, yeah, no, I get what he's saying. I get what Johnny's saying. He liked it, but it was just all goofy and like.
I prefer
yeah,
Forever.
I get it.
Casting,
prefer
you know,
Forever.
casting and
Prefer.
that like that from that movie and then like onward for like the 10-year span. Casting was so weird and overly expensive casting can really screw a movie. I'll give you two examples. That
Yeah.
Batman movie we're just talking about Uma Thurman, George Clooney, Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's expensive. Like why would you do that? And then
Because if you're paying your cast and you have no money to do anything else, your movie's crap.
yeah, but okay,
funny.
second example, the X-Men movie.
Which one?
Okay, I was
All
going to
of
bring
them?
that up
Here,
next.
The trilogy
The
one.
first three.
Yeah.
The first one.
Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
That's his name, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
Ian McKellen.
Halle Berry was Storm. Ian McKellen. That movie is expensive, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
sucks.
No.
And well, I feel
It's
like
not.
hold
The
on,
first
hold
two
on, hold
movies
on.
are good.
Hold on. I think it
They're
was-
not good movies.
Not
You're
only was
wrong.
it expensive, that was just such a huge risk at the time. Like you can have an all-star cast in superhero movies now because you know it'll be out of the park.
Yeah.
But back then, to put an all-star cast in an X-Men movie before there was an X-Men like following, that's crazy.
Which is, you know what? It's weird that I bring up this point because look at the Avengers now. I guess it's hard to validate that reasoning.
What do you mean?
Well, like I was saying, like
Creating an all-star
creating
cast.
an all-star cast doesn't end well in movies, but
No, what I'm saying is you could do it now though. You
Has
for
to be
sure.
done
can.
I
right.
guess it's the timing. Yeah,
Yeah,
back
because-
you're right. In that
because back
10-year
then
span,
there
like
were-
I was saying, that's a bad move.
But
Yeah,
this is
100%.
what I'm saying. As far as superhero movies go, the first X-Men, because that's the next one in line, because after Batman and Robin,
Yeah.
this came out in 99. So, like, this was, or 2000. This was around there. This was the first, I remember seeing the posters for it and like, oh, X-Men, sick, because we grew up with a TV show. And this is what I'm saying. Is that movie a perfect superhero movie?
No.
Does it follow the source material? No. Is it true to the characters? Yes.
I'll
I
agree
would-
with that.
I would
yeah.
say-
It feels like X-Men.
You know what? I don't like Hugh Jackman at all.
Wow.
Dude,
I can't-
Wolverine in the comics
Hold on,
is
hold on.
the most.
Before you,
He's great.
Before
Well,
you,
I disagree.
I want to let you. I want. Actually, no. Explain first, then I'll ask you this.
Yeah, so Hugh Jackman is like muscular, good-looking guy with his shirt off constantly in those movies.
Yeah. Huh.
Wolverine is a gritty, ruthless,
Stinky, gross,
like,
nasty. Yeah.
disgusting, like just rabid, like down on all fours, like tearing people apart character.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman is good-looking Calvin Klein model.
Okay,
guess
It's a
you're
bad
right.
I get what
casting.
you're
I
saying.
don't
I
like it.
Okay. Here's what I was gonna ask. Who do you think would do better? Do you have anybody in mind? Because I think that's hard. Like,
Do I got to cast
Touche.
from that time? Yeah, it might be hard.
because
It was good.
I think
I mean,
it might be. hold
Here's
on.
the thing: he might have worked. You
If-
just he got a bad like.
I think that's what I think it is because maybe it's because that's what I'm stuck with in my head and I can't think of anybody better, but I can't think of anybody better.
Well, I think he got that in his mind. Like when guys in Hollywood like that get cast for those like serious superhero roles, like Batman or Spider-Man or whatever, it's like career changing, like
Oh yeah,
huge for
because
them, right?
because even when I would say even before those superhero movies were huge, you're still playing like an iconic role.
Right.
You're still playing a huge.
You're gonna be on
role.
You're gonna be on toys. You're gonna be
Yeah.
on posters. It's gonna be huge for your
Yeah.
career. And
Even
I
back
think
then.
Wolverine is wrong for that. Like, compare it to real world. Like, if superheroes were real,
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine would not want toys made of him in posters and stuff. He's not that
Okay,
character.
yeah, okay.
So it's rough. They put Wolverine in a weird. I've never liked Hugh Jackman for that reason.
Okay, that
he's not a
makes
bad
sense.
actor, but I
Yeah.
don't think he plays the character correctly.
Okay.
I disagree.
I don't have. I
I feel-
disagree, but I'm
I
not
see
gonna
your
say you're
point.
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, I see your point, and that is one way of looking at it. That's valid. I'm not saying that what Christian and I are saying that it's 100%. This is the objective, but what I'm saying is that movie to me is a great example. It's not perfect. It doesn't execute what I'm saying perfectly, but it feels like X-Men. That's all I want.
I
Which
guess
moves me.
I guess it did. I didn't like the movie, but yeah, it did feel like X-Men.
X-Men 2 is great. X-Men 2 is fantastic.
There's some real problems that I'll bring up though.
With
Let's
that
hear it.
movie,
Well, just in those in general. The villains, beside Magneto and Mystique, suck. They did the villains horribly. Apocalypse is garbage. The
Oh, yeah.
Juggernaut's garbage. The Phoenix arc is garbage.
yeah,
There's some
it gets-
fan favorites
it gets
that are
bad.
missing.
sure.
Bad, dude. Gambit.
Yeah.
Colossus was like nowhere in those movies.
But Gambit doesn't translate. It's a niche character, man. I mean,
He's like my
not
niche.
I
favorite.
love him.
It's the most popular
He's
X-Men besides Wolverine. It's
Yeah,
not
he's
niche at all.
aesthetically
I would say
pleasing, though.
Cyclops.
Cyclops is great.
I'd say it's like Wolverine, Cyclops, Gambit.
and that is a
Maybe.
missed opportunity because they didn't really flesh Cyclops
they
out that
they
great.
messed up Cyclops.
Yeah, they didn't do it
yeah,
really good.
they did it really bad.
Yeah, he
Um,
should have.
But I think that was just a limitation of the time.
Jean Grey also could have been done better.
I thought that was fun,
It was okay though.
but I think Cyclops.
Rogue was
and-
kind of junk too.
Rogue was okay. Rogue was fine.
I don't really remember honestly.
It's
Iceman,
super off
Pyro,
Of, it's
those are sick.
It's super off of the source material with Rogue because she's supposed to be like
Sure.
Southern.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was kind of rough.
She's she was kinda like that,
No,
though.
she's like an emo chick.
No, watch it
Yeah,
again. She's like
you watch it
She
again.
has a southern accent.
It's not like comics though.
Okay, dude, but you can't hear voice in comics. So
Yeah, but she
But
says
you can
like
pick up a personality.
she
in a
says
comic.
like sugar at the end of all her sentences and stuff.
okay.
when she's
No, I
talking.
agree
She
with
doesn't
you.
say that stuff at all.
That's what I'm
Honestly,
saying.
that was just my wife says that all the time. When she gets mad at me because like I say, oh, you can tell this character is this or that because of this in the comics. And she's like, you can't hear voice in comics.
Mm,
But anyways,
no,
that's
but
not
you
really
can totally
valid.
pick up a personality.
Yeah, that's
I
not
agree
really
with you,
valid.
and that's my
Yeah.
argument. I was just that. Anyways, so which brings me to the next one. All of that was to set this up, the Holy Trilogy.
I knew you were gonna say this.
The Holy Trilogy. Spider-Man 1, 2,
They
and
did
3.
not age well.
You're wrong.
They didn't even
Spider-Man
come out
1 and
well.
2.
I enjoyed him
understand.
as a kid.
The studio screwed Spider-Man 3. Sam Raimi himself has said this. There are things that are unseeable that are in that
like
movie.
like emo Spider-Man.
Emo Spider-Man, jazz
Yeah.
dance scene
Oh
in the
my
streets of New York.
God.
Uh,
Hold on. I think that's funny because when I was a kid, when did that movie come out?
which one?
Let's say
3.
2006.
Okay, so I wasn't exactly a kid. I was the kid. What's that?
I was in, like-
14.
I was in like 6th grade.
So I was 14
7th
years
grade.
old.
7th grade.
That was the first experience of being in a movie theater and just being like, what the fuck is going on? Like what that dancing scene, he's like flipping his hair, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Like I was just like completely tuned out of the movie, and then when it came back, I was like, what am I watching?
just
like,
remember
what is this?
People laughing hysterically when he looks in the mirror, and then he's like, he's got the black suit, and he just started, and he just like puts his hair in his fringe in his face, like, and everyone's like, ah, like laughing hella hard, like because he's all emo.
It sucked,
Look,
man.
but immediately you jump to that. Why can't we talk about the first iteration in the Holy Trilogy? Spider-Man 1.
because
Great.
they fucked it up.
No.
When
Great.
something gets
what
fucked up-
what did you grow up with Spider-Man?
Stop
What is your
yelling.
source material for Spider-Man? What is your reference point? It's the cartoon in the 90s. Same as X-Men. It's the
No,
cartoon.
I didn't really watch the Spider-Man
90s.
cartoon. Like I feel like as a kid, I went to Spider-Man 1 very blind. I just knew who Spider-Man was.
I watched the hell out of that cartoon.
Yeah, I know,
I had
me
the
too.
toys.
For
and all
me,
that.
for
That
me,
huge.
it was like toys, video games, and that's it. And
Well,
then,
All I'm saying is,
What about the game? Did you have the PlayStation 1 game?
that one was really good.
Yeah, it was great. That was another piece of material because that was from the cartoon.
I used to work at a school, and this kid came up to me, and he's like, "No, dude, Amazing Spider-Man is way better than." And so we already
Yes.
get. No, you're wrong. 100%. I
Oh
want
my
to like I
God.
legit like want to hurt you like physically.
It was such a better movie.
You're 100% wrong. And his argument when I told him that Andrew Garfield is not Peter Parker. He is not that character. He's not playing that character on the screen. He shows up to the school the first time you see him on a skateboard,
Yeah.
wearing an Urban Outfitters jacket with a niche little indie Polaroid camera around his neck. He stops a fight, and he's clearly not a nerd, like a misunderstood, like contrast that to the beginning of Spider-Man 1. What is the opening scene of Spider-Man 1? He's running to catch the bus, and everyone is laughing at him. That is Peter Parker.
including me. That scene is so funny.
It's great. That is true. He looks like Tobey Maguire looks like an average Joe, and that is part of the mystery. Like if you look back to the original, like if you ever go to the library or something, pick up the Essential Spider-Man comics. Those are the original runs.
Yeah.
Like Peter Parker looks like a dweeb. He looks like a
Right.
complete.
That was the point.
That's the point. Tobey
Right.
Maguire, Spider-Man wears a full body costume, and that's why he's so appealing to whoever you are. wherever you come from, wherever you know believe in, because when you under that suit could be any of us. That's why Spider-Man, one of the reasons, not saying it's the only reason, why Spider-Man is so appealing to so many kids growing up, because it could be any of us under there. And so
You're getting way too deep.
but that's what I'm saying, is that Tobey Maguire perfectly encompasses that, because he's just a guy.
Is that why nobody
And
liked
he's a nerd.
Superman as a kid? Because we couldn't be Superman? Because
You
we
can't-
couldn't wear underwear on
Superman,
the outside?
I'm a
We
huge
weren't
Superman fan.
allowed to.
I used to hate Superman, which brings me, that would be great because we have to talk about Superman Returns. But like, I used to be a Superman hater. Me and Nick used to walk down. We would pull change out of the couch and walk down to Treasure Island, and get the
You can't just say Treasure Island. People don't know what that is.
the comic book store.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, and we would just get the most like bottom of the barrel, whatever we could, you know, like
Yeah.
whatever. And we used to have these conversations all the time, and I talk about how much we hated Superman and how much like Superman's whack and all that. We liked Batman. That was like the only DC property that we liked.
Okay.
Well, then Superman Returns came out. And when the John Williams score hit and the big Superman logo comes on, dun, 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 I got it. Superman is an aspirational figure. In other words, somebody you look up to. Spider-Man could be any of us.
I think it had a hard translation to that generation. I think Man of Steel, once that came, then I was checked in. Like, I think that whole generation growing up, it didn't make sense to me in the modern world. Like, Superman, I just didn't get it.
I never liked Superman. I never did.
Well, then Man of Steel
Did you
came
like
out, and
Spider-Man?
it helped. Man of Steel came out because you know what got me like back into it is it's just Dragon Ball, dude.
Oh.
He's sent to Earth. He's
Yeah.
an alien. He lives among the humans, and then he finds out when he's older that he has otherworldly powers,
Yeah.
and he takes them to a larger scale. Like,
I guess you're right.
it's a simple enough story, and you just kind of got to take it for what it is. That's why I like Man of Steel, because it was like
Alien.
it was just it wasn't real emphasized, like you said, on the iconic dun, 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 like
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
It was real, just like down to the guy, just character development.
Yeah.
It was character
They
development.
tried to make it more real.
Yeah, I love that movie. It was good.
That-
You
I
like
like
Man of
it
Steel?
too.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Okay, you got to
I'm
see
not
that.
I'm
It's
not a
good.
Superman fan like at all.
If
like,
human being,
like
if
but see that is how to make Superman like enjoyable, because I was never a fan of like the cape and the colorful, and it was just like it just wasn't for me. I didn't like
feel it. I know it's not
I
for
think,
everybody.
I think that's why I wasn't a huge Spider-Man fan either.
Mm.
It was just like this like colorful guy with like these superpowers. It's just, I don't know. I was like Batman was cool to me as a kid. It
Yeah,
was just like dark and mysterious, and
I feel it.
but it's funny because growing up, like I'm not even a huge fan of the movies anymore.
Mm.
Like now I'm like complete 180
It's real different too if you were like real into the comics.
Oh,
Because you get a
100%.
real bias.
because I wasn't into comics as a kid,
Well,
or
'cause-
even growing up. Really,
And
I just read them here and there.
I've definitely hit a real bias when it comes to like DC and Marvel stuff because
Mm-hmm.
I think everything DC writes is so much better. Like the writers they get, the artists they get, I just like all that shit so much
It's
better.
such a different direction.
They
like,
do trade.
Like, you can compare
still.
those all day, but really, like they're so different in every single way. They have a different demographic almost. Like they
Like,
have a
all
different
now,
direction.
definitely.
all
now,
the stuff
for
like,
sure.
All the stuff Frank Miller's written for like Batman, like oh my God, you
Well,
read that and there's
Frank Miller
nothing.
did Daredevil on Marvel though too.
Yeah, but there's nothing like he's done. The source material is just so built for like perfection in writing. I feel like.
Well, I
It's
just-
so
As a DC apologist myself, as somebody who
Apologist.
errs on the side of DC, I'm thinking about it as my sworn enemy, the Marvel fanboys. I'm just kidding. They're not really my sworn enemy, but regardless. Anyway, their argument to that would be, well, the writers and the artists, they switch all the time.
that's not the point. That's not the point. It's the character is a canvas and the writers are freelancers.
I agree.
And I feel like the canvas for DC has given them such better opportunity to write better books.
But you brought up Frank Miller. Frank Miller resurrected Daredevil and Batman, and our ideas contemporarily, like viewing those two
and
characters.
Look at all the love that Marvel gives Daredevil, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all those other.
But,
he doesn't
okay,
get
for
hardly
example,
any of them.
Daredevil being
I
Catholic.
would love
That was
love
Frank
to
Miller.
see Marvel do a new Daredevil, because I feel like it would be
Netflix. Have you seen
Netflix. Have you seen it?
that. No, is
Oh,
it actually good?
It's amazing.
Because I like superhero movies, but like superhero TV shows just have a weird
Dog,
spot to me.
Here's
It's
one.
perfect for
get
you.
this. Get this. On the Netflix series.
Oh,
and
especially and another weird spot for me is Netflix originals.
they're good. Most
They're
of
good.
them.
Not a lot of them are good.
What have you seen?
Watch Daredevil.
Out of the Netflix originals?
Yeah.
Stranger Things, first season.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Marvel.
No. I was talking about just Netflix originals.
Oh, okay.
And then superhero like TV shows, I've seen none.
Yeah, no.
Nothing.
So the Netflix superhero TV shows have always been garbage.
Exactly.
Netflix series ones are great because it's made like every episode leaves you in that comic book style cliffhanger.
Oh,
like
really?
you turn the last page, it's a full frame of like a guy bursting through the
perfect.
door who like you thought was dead kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
The episodes work like comic books.
Everybody's been talking about Luke Cage.
Yeah,
Season
they're
two's
all
pretty
good.
good.
They're all good.
It's good.
Daredevil's perfect for you though because the first season he doesn't even put on a costume.
Okay.
It's
See, that's
a
not
crime
my,
drama.
That's not even my thing. Is like I would just like to see a grittier Marvel movie,
It's good.
like
you
what
should,
you said.
you know what? Okay, you know what you should watch then? You should watch Daredevil because it's gritty. Season 2 of Daredevil also very gritty, but the main villain in season 2 is the Punisher.
Oh, nice.
They
The Punisher
build.
was
They
good, too.
he is great in that season. Then he gets his own season
Right.
show called The Punisher on Netflix.
And they did it just as good, in my
It's
opinion.
all great.
Really?
And it's if you've seen The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
It's Shane.
The first
he
3
plays
seasons.
Shane plays the Punisher.
Shane.
The guy who's
It's been a long time.
So there's 2 cops in Walking Dead. The like sheriff and deputy type guy.
Okay.
The deputy guy.
Okay.
The one that's like he
With his
comes
wife.
and he's with his wife.
Yeah.
that
Okay,
guy.
okay, okay.
Yeah, that guy's the Punisher.
Oh, what's his name?
John
Bergdahl.
Bergdahl, yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Great.
But that's exactly you just mentioned like you looking for like the grittiness, like that's perfect.
And they did it right.
Okay.
And they did it right.
That's
they don't give you
surprising.
too much. They don't give you too much right away, and they really build up the climax of those series really
Nice.
good. Both
Okay.
of those series, yeah.
Did you watch Iron Fist?
No, I heard
That's
it's
the worst out of
awful.
all.
Mhm.
That's
I
the
heard that
worst
one
out
was
of
not
all of
good.
them. All the other ones I got no problem with. Actually, I haven't seen Jessica Jones. I just didn't give it a chance.
My wife likes that one.
I heard a lot of people say that was good.
I didn't
but
give it a chance.
I don't know. To me, it's
Yeah.
just weird.
So, like I said, I used to work at a school, and the best argument that I heard against the Holy Trilogy was that, well, you know, Spider-Man, he actually makes his web shooters in the. This is the kid talking to me, this voice, and and he's like, well, at least the Spider-Man makes the web shooters. He actually does it. I'm like, what is that your staple for a good movie, dog? Like,
Wait, what do
there-
you mean?
There was
he makes his web shooters in Amazing Spider-Man.
Uh huh.
And I'm like, that's legitimately the only reason. Yeah, that's a little gross that he actually has like a built-in, like weird like web sack thing on his
I
wrist.
think that makes more
But
sense.
it's whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not even tripping, dog.
You know what was the only good thing I don't like the Amazing. I don't like either of them. I think
They're
both-
awful. I fell asleep in the second one. It was
But so
real bad.
So the Amazing Spider-Man one, the choreography in the battles is pretty good. I think it's
The Amazing
good.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, the Amazing Spider-Man. Like, there's a moment where he's like fighting, and he's fighting the lizard, and he like jumps on him, and he's like he like is trying to like web him down, like hold him down, and he shoots a bunch, and he's like flipping around him. He jumps on him, and then he's crawling around him like a spider. Like
That's cool.
It looks dope. Like there's a bunch of moments where like the action was like well done. Like
Oh,
the
yeah.
scenes and the effects and the eye candy in that movie is good. Mm-hmm. But
It just doesn't feel
it
like
looks good.
Spider-Man though. It doesn't feel like Spider-Man, dog.
it's Ultimate Spider-Man is what I took it as.
Maybe. And I loved Ultimate Spider-Man as a kid. We read the crap out of that one, dude. But that's what I'm saying is like even that one though didn't feel another big thing is like I said immersion when I think about movies. The Holy Trilogy, that New York feels like New York. That feels like the New York Spider-Man would be in, you know, like when they're interviewing all the people.
They were real heavy on the city. On
it was
that one.
it was big.
that
And it's huge. That's part of Spider-Man. He's from New York. It's a big deal.
What do you two like, or what do you two think of Homecoming?
I didn't see it.
You didn't see it?
Didn't see it.
It's fair. It still doesn't feel like it was good. That's my preface. That's my. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it 100%.
I was just at the point where I've seen enough Spider-Man. Even though I liked Amazing Spider-Man, I was just like, I've seen enough Spider-Man.
It still felt
I was
like a
burnt out.
spin-off.
I was burnt out.
I just
It's-
hope
it still felt like a spin-off.
the
dude.
next Spider-Man I think they're gonna do is the Clone Saga.
That's
They better
sick.
not jack that up. Though.
If they do that,
Wait, fill me in. What's this?
So
I'm bending the knee to
in the
Marvel if they
in
do
the
that.
Spider-Man arc, there's a Clone Saga where I don't even know how it starts. I actually bought it. I have to get through most of it. But a second Spider-Man comes up called the Scarlet Spider, and it's like a clone of Peter Parker, and the guy's been living in like bumfuck middle of nowhere, and he just kind of comes into the spotlight, and then it goes into this whole thing, and then it ties into like. I don't know. He starts like it's like interdimensional type stuff, and he goes into different universes and stuff.
Okay.
And what is it? They done like small like cartoon series that cover it too that are recent. Like
Yeah.
the Spider-Verse is what they call it.
Okay.
And I don't know. It's really good. But the thing is it's been portrayed like 100 different ways. Like I was saying, like the cartoons, there's games, there's other comics that have done it. There's like the spin-off comics, like Ultimate Spider-Man have done it, and they all do it differently.
Nick
So
loved
it
that
could
series.
it could be hit or miss.
Yeah.
Well, because then it ties
When we were
into the
kids.
Spider Carnage thing.
I know.
That's
Okay.
sick.
It's great.
Right.
Side story: when we were kids, there was a Halloween contest, and Nick was Scarlet Spider, and I was Symbiote Spider-Man. Like we actually like made masks and stuff. Nick's mom helped us, and like I think Nick won. Like we got into a finals for sure. He got far. Mine was just a black costume with that white spider logo, and so it wasn't as good as Nick's. Nick's was like super sick, like on point with the color, even the logo, because Scarlet Spider's logo is like kind of the
That
side.
character design is dope because it's
It's
just
so
like
good.
It looks like just straight out of your closet. Like
Yeah,
superhero.
like a real superhero.
Yeah.
Like how it would honestly be, like somebody just throwing something together in there.
Speaking of costume,
Well, that's how it was in like the first Spider-Man movie.
well, so
Yeah.
Speaking of costume, the
100%.
the Amazing Spider-Man, the first one, that costume sucked.
Ah,
the
it's
yellow
bad.
eyes,
Too much blue.
The yellow eyes.
Yuck.
Let me look it up.
It's
I gotta remember.
It's really bad,
terrible.
dude.
When I saw it, I was like, I don't even
Dude,
want to see this.
It's the first two Spider-Man movies of the Holy Trilogy. Perfect. Perfect. What
His costume.
what you gonna do?
His costume in the second Amazing
It's even-
Spider-Man is good.
It's pretty good. The eyes. The eyes are sick.
It's
the
Ultimate,
teardrop.
It's Ultimate Spider-Man to a T.
I would but then that brings us to this argument, which is a legitimate arrow. I'm not gonna say it's an arrow in the heel of the Holy Trilogy, but
Stop calling it that.
Yeah, please.
I'm not gonna stop calling
Just
it
the
that.
original
Nope.
trilogy.
Every time wrong. The Green Goblin Power Ranger. How do you feel about that?
What?
You love You love the
What
Holy
are we
Trilogy.
talking about?
You love Willem Dafoe as
I
the
like
Green-
Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, you do.
I like
know.
Willem Dafoe
You
and
like
everything.
him, dude.
He's
great.
good in everything.
John Wick. He was
Oh my God.
amazing
I
in that
forgot
movie.
he was in the movie.
He's selling it, dude. Anyway, wrap it up. Roll it back. All right. Green Goblin Power Ranger. How do you feel?
What are you asking me?
Do you
It's
feel
not
like
even
it-
a question.
Do you feel like it's bad?
The costume
Yeah.
that he wears in the first one?
Yeah.
It's gross. It's not a good costume at
It's a
all.
Mortal Kombat. looking,
Yeah.
It's
like-
terrible. It's
a Power
bad
Ranger is a
costume.
good way to put it.
yeah, he looks like
Really
the Green
good way to put
Ranger.
it.
Yeah, for sure.
Doc
Doc Ock.
Doc Ock was fine.
Sick.
And then
Where's
everything,
the trench
and
coat?
then everything in 3 was bad.
Agreed.
All the villains in 3 are bad.
Agreed.
Harry Osborn, bad. Sandman, I mean, it's just...
They could have wrapped that character
whatever.
up so well too. But yeah, the studio pressed Sam Raimi to put in a lot of garbage. Sam Raimi wanted one villain.
I
And
wish... How sick would it have been if when Harry Osborn showed up and he finally revealed himself to Peter, he was wearing his dad's exact costume, and he's like, I thought you were dead type thing. Like,
yeah,
it was a missed opportunity. That shit was junk the way they did it. It was junk.
because they built that Harry Osborn stuff all the way, and then like that weird
Yeah.
like love thing that happens in 3. Like there are good things about 3. There are.
Like?
Like they did at least in the first half build up they were gonna finally wrap up Peter and MJ were figuring it out.
Where did the symbiote come from in that movie?
A meteorite.
They showed just a meteorite
Which is
falling
stupid
randomly,
because
huh?
they introduced what's his name, JJ's son, who's an astronaut in the second one. Remember?
Yeah, and that's in the comics.
comics,
his
he
son is
finds
supposed
it.
to bring it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
You know what I was talking with someone about too? We were talking and we were like, oh, so like the Avengers just did Infinity War, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
What's left? Like, what could they possibly do, right? Like,
Yeah.
they need another big event to build up to.
Yeah.
They already burnt off Civil War in a horrible way. They just killed off Infinity War. We were talking about this. Secret Wars might be the next one.
Yeah, I'm hearing about that, but they need to still wrap up the Infinity War thing. Like they're gonna bring people
Well,
back to
it's
life.
done. It's
and-
pretty much done already. I mean, it's filmed. It's done.
Oh, okay,
I'm
yeah.
saying, like, what's
Secret
next
Wars.
for
Oh,
Marvel?
That's cool.
Yeah, okay.
What's next for Marvel? It'll probably be the Secret War thing.
yeah, there's a lot of opportunities here.
I'm just upset Civil War was how it was.
It wasn't
was
that
such a
good.
dope comic.
look,
was
every
sick-
single.
What was sick about that comic? It was a large event, and you could buy all the comics for each character and see what's going on in their head during this. Like the Fantastic Four, half of them were on one side, half of them on the other side. Wolverine, he just like went into hiding. Like Spider-Man jumps from Iron Man's side to Captain America's side. Captain America is going through all the stuff. He has to bring in the villains to work with him because even though he doesn't want to do that, like there's just so much going on.
Yeah.
And what did we get? We got. Did you like Civil War?
I don't even remember watching it. I don't remember a thing about that movie.
Did you like it?
No.
So yeah, so like the problem with that movie is not a single character had a reason to be fighting
Yeah.
besides Iron Man and Captain America and Winter Soldier. Everyone else was like Hey, come fight with me. Oh, okay. Hey, Ant-Man,
See,
come be on my team.
that
Oh,
was-
you're Captain America. Oh, okay, I'll fight with you.
That was the point in time where like I was watching these movies and I was like, I don't know why I'm watching these movies. Like now we have like a
Right?
big reason. Like everybody started watching them and wanting to watch them because
People-
Infinity War.
People
But like
were calling that the greatest superhero movie of all time when it came out.
I don't
People
get
are
that.
so full of
They're
their
so-
own shit.
that
I
was
can't
that was
stand
the
it.
point where I was just like, really like that Spider-Man Homecoming, like that couple of year span.
Yeah.
I was just like, dude, why do these keep coming out?
So
What
you
is
got,
your-
You got a bit of flip flop in the conversation. Like, truthfully, how do you
Mhm.
feel about Marvel right now
Yeah,
as a
I was
whole?
I was
Like,
my next
I
question.
think they're good.
Yeah.
I think they're good because they gave it purpose. Like that was the point where like we were still in the dark, kinda, and I was like, why am I
there's a
watching
lot
these?
that they don't give purpose to. I would
So-
say that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
That is very true.
Let me ask you plainly, what's your favorite out of the Marvel Renaissance? What's your favorite film, standalone?
The Marvel Renaissance. What do you
Yeah,
mean by
this
that?
Marvel Renaissance that we are by
Mhm.
which living through.
Guardians of the Galaxy is really good.
Yeah.
I think it just as an enjoyable. I just go to the movies, sit down, watch it, laugh, have fun. Those were good. Second one was okay.
Second one was so bad.
Second one was okay.
And that was a B-lister too, and they brought it
Second
up.
one was okay.
Oh man, his
First one was
his
so
dad
good.
his dad showed up out of nowhere and he's like, "Hey, there you are. Been looking for you forever, but
Yeah.
what up?"
I didn't like
Some people can relate to that.
oh my god. The second one was good and it was still enjoyable. Plot wise, it was terrible.
Dude, there was just
because-
so many moments where it was just special effects and
Yeah.
colorful lighting,
Yeah.
and fart jokes and penis jokes.
That's what I'm saying. I'm so sick of it, dude.
But like I think
same formula every time.
I think the issue, yes and no, but I think the issue with Guardians of the Galaxy 2 specifically was like the plot like took an hour and a half, an hour like more than that to like unravel, and then was resolved in like 3 minutes.
There was so many weird moments, like when they showed up to his dad's planet,
Yeah.
and they spent 15 minutes in slow motion animation looking at butterflies and bubbles,
Uh huh.
and then his dad pulls him aside, goes, "Oh, you're my son, and you have superpowers," and he
Yeah.
goes, "Really?" And he holds out his hand, and then like makes like an orb of power just come
Uh-huh.
out and like instantly, like 5 minutes have gone by, and he goes, "Oh, okay, I have powers," and then he like does something. It's like, what is this?
Have you seen Captain America 2?
Yeah, that one
one's
was good.
great.
It was good. I didn't like the
Fantastic.
first one, so I was iffy on going to see the second one. But that one was really good.
They tied in Hydra.
It was
They-
perfect.
just like current events.
Yeah,
like
it was
freaking-
really good. I wish they made the first one just like a 5-minute intro, and
You
the
can't
second one
trust the
it would have been
government.
great.
Government's
I've
bad.
only seen one Thor movie.
Those are all bad. I got nothing good to say.
I
about
liked
Ragnarok
the
was
first
good.
one. Everybody said Ragnarok was good. I didn't watch
Thor
it.
1 is
I liked it.
it's okay.
I liked it. It
It's
was
all right.
enjoyable.
It was all right. I agree.
Um,
Thor 2, I didn't even see it because I heard it was just awful.
See, my thing is like, because I'm not like immersed in comic books.
yeah.
Like, I don't have a reason to go see these movies. And if 3 people tell me a movie's bad, I'm not gonna go watch it. Like,
I agree.
if I was like a huge like buff on comic books, I would probably be like, I'm gonna go watch it anyway because I'm
I
into
think
comic
the
books.
biggest
I'm not even
reason,
that.
The reason people like
But like, it's sorry to interrupt, but
No,
I
you're
just
good.
wanted to wrap up what I, like my thought. Like, it's easy for me to get burnt out on these movies. Like I was burnt out on Spider-Man, like that, because I'm not huge into comic books at all, but
Yeah.
Spider-Man especially.
Well, it's weird because like I was saying, the reason people like these is because when they were reading comics,
Mm-hmm.
Marvel has a way of making a larger picture across their comics. They connect these universes in a way that no other comics do.
Okay,
DC
yeah.
does it.
They tried.
I think they developed
Like with Justice League or what?
yeah,
Yeah.
So DC develops their characters better.
Like standalone? You
Their
mean?
characters' internal struggles are better.
Okay, yeah.
But Marvel makes a way better universe that connects everybody.
Uh huh.
And that's what I think people are enjoying with the movies. It's something that's never been done in film and cinema
Yeah.
ever.
I
Yeah.
can feel
They're
the Marvel
connecting-
rage, the Marvel fanboy rage at your comment that the internal struggles are better at the DC.
They're way
I
better.
No,
don't
but
disagree.
I don't.
but-
I'm not gonna disagree with that
Explain
because
to me.
because
like,
the reason I like Marvel movies is just they're more enjoyable to me.
what would they
but-
say? Like, what could you say?
that
there's
the
no-
Marvel
there's no
characters
argument.
are more human, and that the DC characters are more godlike and.
But the thing is yeah. But
What comes to mind when you
The-
talk about
they're
internal
executed
struggle is
better.
immediately a Batman, which I think is probably
oh yeah,
one of the
Dark
best
Knight trilogy is great.
one of the best like internal struggles there is in comic books.
The
but
vision
again, my
behind
my
the-
opinion might not be that great because I don't read a bunch of comics. But
Yeah.
when I think of like Marvel like superheroes, I don't think of anything that's like very deep.
if you read through some of them, you'd be blown away. Like for example, one probably not a lot of people read The Flash.
Mm-hmm.
There's moments where he talks and he's like, imagine living and feeling like you have to move slow, like being stuck in like a million, seconds of waiting because everyone else is just moving slower. Like it's stuff like that. What's the other one? The Green Lantern. He constantly is
Great.
He constantly is like,
Great movie.
well,
No.
the movie's but he's
Nice.
constantly in struggle because he's given the power by these like larger
Guardians.
beings.
Yeah.
And there's like rules that he has to abide by, and he's constantly in conflict and struggle by those rules, and he constantly is getting kicked out of the Green Lantern Corps and then given his powers back because like he goes out of line. He's like a loose cannon cop pretty much. There's great pieces of that.
Let me just say
Superman
this.
and Wonder Woman, they feel it, yes, they're like godly, they're not human, but the reason it's interesting is because they're having to deal with society around humans,
Yeah,
and
I
they're
feel
trying
like,
to
I feel
play
like
around
even
that.
even with Superman, there's like a level of like loneliness that
yeah,
goes with that
he has
story.
nobody.
He's
Only
it's just
Lois
him.
Lane really, and his mom, and
Yeah.
that's about it. Let me just say this: that I have maybe an ankle deep knowledge of comics. I enjoyed them as kids, but
You stopped.
well,
See,
we just picked random ones, dude. We didn't
Oh,
follow
yeah.
story.
See, that's how I was.
No,
See,
it took me a while. I really got into it. Like
I would say you're
around
knee-deep.
16 to 18.
See,
I would call you knee deep.
Yeah.
There was a very, very shallow point in time where like I would pick up comic books from like here and there, and I'd read them and just enjoy them.
Yeah.
So yeah, ankle deep for me.
For
Maybe that's where
Yeah.
I'm at.
Yeah,
But for me, where I get like my comic book intake is from the movies.
Sure.
Which is not you would fall into a whole nother world. Like what I did for the longest time from like 16 to 18, I started getting money and I was like, dude, I can buy all the comic books I want, which I
Right.
could never do, right?
Yeah.
So I would start buying the readers, the
Trade
compiled
paperbacks,
the
yeah.
compiled comics, so
Okay,
it's just
yeah,
like
yeah.
a whole series, right?
Mhm.
And I would Google online like best DC, like top 10 best DC novels or series arcs or whatever.
Yeah.
And I would buy everything. Like I have, and I would do the same thing for Marvel. I would do it for all of them, and I would read through everything, and like my opinion on everything, like my understanding of everything, just blossomed. And like, oh my God, there's so much. Like you see the writing styles of these writers, you see the internal struggles of these characters.
Yeah.
You see like the depth. You see the way that they tie together with each other. And I'm telling you, I strongly think that
So you
DC
can
does
see-
it better.
You can see.
And again, even being ankle deep, I agree with you.
Yeah.
My thing of saying Marvel's better than DC is strictly movies.
Right.
Strictly.
Well, there's definitely things that they do better. Up until recently, DC's owned the video game area. To me,
by far.
by far.
Really?
Yeah. Arkham Asylum, Arkham City.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Arkham Asylum, Arkham City,
Batman alone is a powerhouse.
Injustice.
Batman might be one of the most important American characters of all time, in terms of worldwide reach, how recognizable, how memorable, how his villains by far. A hero is only defined by his character and his villains.
I feel like growing up, like superhero games were so good though. I like
yeah.
all those like cool like side scrolling games on like Super Nintendo and
Yeah,
stuff.
great.
For like X-Men and
Oh, yeah.
Batman.
The arcade
Spider-Man,
title, yeah.
So good. So good.
That Spider-Man game with
and that
Venom.
Superman N64 game.
Stop.
No, don't even. You've brought
Oh,
up
yeah.
Green Lantern and now Superman 64. I can't even
It's
handle
like
it.
the
dog.
worst game ever made, like of all time.
Yeah,
it's
one
pretty
of them.
bad.
Literally like ranked
You
number
flying
one
through
worst game.
rings, like you just
Yeah.
fly through rings in that.
Yeah, it's awful.
That's,
But the Spider-Man N64 and PS1 game, sick.
Mhm.
that's great.
Yeah.
Great.
The Spider-Man game coming out looks
good.
incredible.
It does look good.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. As
Well, that's what I was
Arkham
gonna
City.
say. As of so, like they've definitely leveled up. They've definitely leveled up.
It's the same thing as
Marvel.
Arkham City. I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. I don't care if it's just Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man, but like I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. It's the same thing. It's not original. And
Oh, you're
that's
saying the plot.
not
is
just the
the-
plot.
is the
It's the
same
same
thing.
formula, same thing.
Yeah.
Like I'm just over
Yeah,
it.
I don't think it is.
It kind of is.
I don't think it is. I think you've looked at. I think you're making that judgment having looked at 15 seconds
No.
of footage.
It kind of looks like it.
You certainly have.
It's
made
just a
that
beat 'em up
judgment.
game, dude, where you fly around and
I'd be
I'm
willing
over
to
it.
accept that judgment if like it was out already. I don't think it's fair yet.
Ultimate
to say that.
Spider-Man was kind of cool
Which one was that?
because I'm the one. So first Spider-Man game, it has to be free roam.
I think this game is
It is.
certainly free roam.
This game
Right.
is huge.
I agree. But I'm just saying, like, that was started back by Spider-Man 2 and then Ultimate Spider-Man. I remember having a lot of fun with that and getting the alternate costumes and, like,
Mm-hmm.
that's a big deal. So,
when
I
does
don't
that
know,
game
man.
come out? You got a date on that?
I have no idea.
I want to know if
I'll
it's
look it up.
soon. I'm gonna get hyped. Isn't
I'll
it
look it up.
soon?
no, dude. Come on now.
Yeah, so that you can't make a judgment on that game. It looks good.
I don't know.
Well, his issue is just like how all the villains are
It's the
like
same
breaking,
problem I have with the movies.
breaking out and going after him.
Dude,
the
I
same
think
as
that's,
Arkham
that's
Asylum.
I
same
think that's
thing.
no. I think that's literally like one mission. I don't even think that's what the game is about.
People will buy them up.
September 7th. Pretty close.
If they
Gross.
make a two, this is my problem with movies in general. It's the same problem with I have lightweight with the game, definitely with the Marvel movies, but with movies in general, is that the powers that be, these people sitting around these smoking conference tables, they will make a movie based on something from your childhood. They will make a 2-hour movie with tons of CGI. They will make the Uno movie. And people will go out in droves, take their kids out of school on Friday, like, the Uno movie's coming out, guys. Oh, Uno, I remember that when I was a kid. Like, let's take all the kids. And they know they're gonna get asses in seats. And then they're gonna go to the movie theater and you're gonna see a bunch of freaking dads wearing an Uno shirt with their kids, like, oh yeah,
What does
Uno,
this
dude.
tie into what we were
The
saying?
same thing with the Marvel movies. They become that. They've become that.
That-
They've dumbed down and watered down these characters and watered down this universe to where it's a cheap thrill. Just like on our first episode, everything feels like there's a guy with a freaking
Chuck E.
ponytail.
Cheese and boomers. Yeah, we remember.
Yeah,
We remember.
I'm glad you remember because that's how everything feels now. Some guy's oh, you like Spider-Man, huh? I'll let you in the picture show. Give me $5. I'll let you in. You know, you like Spider-Man. He
That's
flies around,
certainly-
shoots a little web. You know, sprays it everywhere.
Speaking of that, this is a little relevant, and I've talked to some people about it, but I don't think I've talked to you guys about it. What do you think on that new thing that they're doing with the movies where it's like $30 a month and you could see a movie a day?
Movie Pass?
Yeah, would you do it?
It's $10 a month.
Is that really all it is?
It's fucking $10 a month.
So would you? Are you
This is now
interested?
going to turn into a Movie Pass commercial, everybody. So, Movie Pass for $10 a month, you could see one movie a day.
I don't know.
But
man.
are you? What does that interest you at all? Are you
Not
think-
really. No.
What about you?
Yeah, no.
No.
So
I
that's
won't
what
do it.
This is what I tell people. I'm like, that's awesome. Like that's cool. You know, cool net. But here's the thing. I don't want to see The Rock jumping out of a helicopter 15 times.
See, that's
Like
true.
everything that comes out is junk.
Well, everybody I know who has Movie Pass literally sees everything.
Dude, if I had Movie Pass and if I was living in 1980 and they had Movie
That's
Pass,
what I'm saying.
oh my
Movies are
God.
bad and
easy.
just to further show the divide that of people and class in this country is that most people are not movies that are up for the Academy Awards like 20 years ago versus movies that are up like Gladiator.
the Academy Awards
Sure.
are a joke. Those people
Yeah.
are all
I
sucking
agree,
each other's
but let me
dicks.
make this point. Everybody liked Gladiator. Everybody saw Gladiator. That was a huge movie akin to what we're talking about, right? But
like
it's
in,
still
like, do you
touched
mean
on-
in like size?
What are we saying?
in
Get-
size,
get
but
to the
it
point on
won the
what's going on.
Academy Award.
Okay.
It was this is the best movie. This is the best. This
Sure,
movie
okay.
was the best piece of art that came out. Well, now everyone's going to see the Uno movie and freaking the Marvel movies, and nobody's going to see the Lady in Water where a merman has sex with a woman, and then that's going to win the Academy Award, and you're going to call it art. I'm sorry, that's
No,
that's not good.
No,
I caught myself. Don't even
no.
look at me
here's
like that.
here's
Dog.
the thing with that though. Those like that whole. It's irrelevant to talk about that because look what just happened in Hollywood. They just burst the bubble of what's really been going on in Hollywood with Harvey Weinstein.
Forever. That's been going on forever.
That's
dog,
what I'm
since
saying.
The 20s,
Yeah, that's
bro.
what he's
That's
saying.
what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
it's a joke. Like all those awards, they're all just jerking each other off.
I agree.
They're all
Mhm.
like, it's just for them. It has nothing to do with us. And in turn, they sell some extra movie tickets because people see, oh, I've never seen that movie. I should see it. It's a
Yeah.
big fucking joke. You shouldn't take any of that stuff seriously. Same thing with all the movie ratings
Hey.
online, Fandango, Rotten Tomatoes, all that junk. Those movie rating reviews. So Rotten Tomatoes is owned by Fandango.
Is it really?
Fandango
I
is
had no idea.
Fandango's owned by NBC.
Uh-huh.
NBC is owned by Universal, who owns like everything.
What the hell?
Those people who are like the approved Rotten Tomato reviewers who like work at those offices, they get wined and dined before they write these reviews by
Yeah.
the
Oh,
producers.
you can tell.
That's
It's a big
crazy.
fucking joke. Don't believe any of that crap. That's
And
why
you can tell-
that's why every Marvel movie is like a 90.
Yeah.
That's crap.
Well, isn't there just a user rating on Rotten Tomatoes?
Yes,
There is, and
that's
it's always
perfect segue.
white. So like Star Wars, for example.
Yes, Star Wars: Last Jedi, perfect example.
So the user rating. So okay, I should say the other one. The critic review on Star Wars, the
Yeah.
last one.
The Last Jedi was the last one that came out.
Yeah,
I didn't
the-
watch it.
The Last Jedi,
Good.
Rotten Tomatoes, it was like a 93 critic review.
Yeah.
User was like 52.
Maybe that.
Huge difference.
What if it's that big of a difference? You should be fired because you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
Clearly, like
They
that-
just praised it.
that's crap. Like if you're that off of like general consensus,
That movie-
your job's a critic and you're that far off of general consensus, like what are you doing? Why are we hiring and paying you? I'll tell you why, because they're getting jerked off by producers. It's crap.
It deserves
That's
its own
crazy.
episode. But I know you're not a big Star Wars fan, so maybe not.
no,
but
this is the one. Star Wars.
I'm just saying in general that movie is real bad, and that movie tells
Have you seen it?
I was never been to Star Wars.
There is a
Never into Star
utility.
Wars.
At all.
And no, not at all.
Wow, we have a Star Wars
Have you
virgin.
seen any of them?
Episode 1 and 2, and like 4 when I was a child, like a wee child, and it just didn't pique my interest. And then I saw episode 7, and that one was pretty good, but
That's fair.
that's it.
That's fair.
7 was just like enjoyable. Like
Yeah.
I got myself caught up in the story
It's
in
a
like
soft
5
reboot.
minutes, and I watched it, and I was like, I went in, I sat down, I had a good time.
That's
it.
perfect for you too. He's a perfect example because he's dry ground because he's never so the soft reboot really took with him, and I feel like they probably were thinking about that as well, about people who never.
That's for sure what they wanted out of that movie.
You know what? There's better ways to do it. For example, when I was a kid, you know what got me into Star Wars? Because that came out in the 70s. It's like, why
Yeah.
are kids in the 90s getting into Star Wars? They relaunched all of those movies in the movie
theaters,
theater
yeah.
and
Remember
remastered
that.
them. And
Right.
my uncle took me, in 1970 saw that stuff, and he's like, oh,
It was amazing.
I'm going to
yeah.
take Nick to see this. He's a kid. This is Star Wars.
Same idea.
And same thing. And then right after they did the prequel, which
Yeah.
was bad, but as a kid, it was enjoyable.
Yeah, I loved it as a kid.
There's better ways to do it. I don't hate 7. I think, what is it called?
The Last Jedi?
No.
The
Force
Awakens.
Awakens. I think it's good. A lot of people's argument with
enjoy
that is they go, "Oh, it's exactly the same as New Hope."
Mhm.
Well, yeah, like that's how legends work. Like that, the Force works in mysterious ways. It's like some religion stuff or something. That's sick. That's cool. What are you complaining about?
Mhm.
And then those same people those same people that say that like The Last Jedi. It's like I'm not
Because it
gonna
was
listen.
completely
I'm not
different.
gonna listen to anything you say ever again.
Yeah.
Who, like
It's true.
Stop talking to me.
Last Jedi serves a purpose, I feel, ultimately in the grand scheme of things, because you can't just do the same. Your argument is 100%. It's very strong. At the same time, I feel like, though, people were getting tired of the same thing over and over again.
Then what are you watching Star Wars for?
I agree.
Go watch a fish fucking a human.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. You said it 100%.
I couldn't agree more.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That shows the divide.
It's hard when you've been like loyal to like, it's like our last Pokemon episode. Like we've all been playing Pokemon as long as we've been around, and when they come out with a new Pokemon game, it's like fuck, like all right, I'll play it, and if it's not good, then we're gonna have the same reaction as these Star Wars guys.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's
Yeah.
just when you're loyal to something and you want to keep going, but it's just not as good as it used to
Well, considering that you're not super invested, I don't feel bad at all just dropping this spoiler. They've killed off all of the original characters, essentially. And now that, except for Princess Leia, but now Carrie Fisher's dead.
be. Mm-hmm.
And they're either going to recast her or they're going to have to retcon whatever. But they're in trouble. 9 is going to be...
No,
if it doesn't...
they put
they're
a
in a
pause.
lot of trouble.
They put a pause on all Star Wars development because
I thought that was just the Star Wars stories.
Besides the guidance, like the side stories.
Is that what it
Yoda.
is?
That's just the Star
Yeah.
Wars stories because Solo did
even,
terribly.
Even so, that is
That was
Emerging.
crazy. to me.
Embarrassing.
So that was
That's
crazy to
huge.
me because that was like the first loss that Disney ever took, ever. And they handled it. It was the first time they didn't see huge checks, and they were like, "Done. We're not doing this anymore."
well. That
It was
so
crazy.
Good.
That was the one time they should have hired me. Because I was saying before, I said I want some American film grit. I want Dirty Harry, Scarface.
That would have been a
type
good.
stuff.
That would have been a
Dude,
good spot
Han
for
Solo.
it.
It would have been a western in space. He's killing people behind the card tables. Like
That's
it should have
real.
been dirty. It was Disney. He didn't. You didn't see it yet, huh?
Nah.
He didn't even kill a single person.
I heard some of my
he
man.
didn't kill a single person in the movie.
And he
What
shot
the
first, and that's what I'm saying. That what you're saying is 100% true because the original Star Wars was an American gritty. George Lucas. People in the UK say, "Oh, that's a Yankee crazy fantasy about
Right.
Yeah.
And it was a western. At least in the
Yeah.
beginning, it
Yeah.
was like
I would say so. Yeah.
they go to the bar, and it's like clearly in the tradition of like American.
Yeah, it was just a
films.
western in space.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've heard that plenty
with
of
some
times.
Japanese
I've heard that
like
plenty of times.
mythical folklore kind of.
Sure.
Sure. But yeah, I 100% agree. And they broke the golden goose. And it's like they need to deliver and fix 9 hard. They have made I mean, I think J.J. Abrams makes a good movie, but my fear and what I gather, honestly, is they did fire Kathleen Kennedy. She's the one who owns or she was the director of everything. She's the one who purchased the title from, or the property from George
LucasArts?
Lucas. Yeah, she was running it, but they fired her.
Oh wow,
Because her.
that's big news. I
and
didn't hear about that. That's
yeah,
crazy.
that's the problem with the Last Jedi is the decision making. Really, it's not so much the execution or anything. It's a pretty film to look at. It was executed fine, but the vision itself, the decision making, and was awful.
Got it.
Awful.
Let's
And
let's bring this back to Marvel movies
Yeah.
where we were just at.
Yeah.
That was a nice little tangent on movies in general. I think that was a good segue. What have we missed as far as Marvel movies or DC movies or anything? Green Lantern. We haven't talked about Green Lantern. I want to
it's
talk
really
about
bad.
Green Lantern.
When he conveniently needs to be transported to talk to somebody, and he
There's
gets
there's-
a green orb, picks him up, and
there's a-
flies him
there's a-
across the world.
There's a quick shot of Pokemon Sapphire in that movie.
What are we talking
What?
about here?
Yeah, in Green Lantern. In Green Lantern, there's a quick shot of his desk and Pokemon Sapphire's on there, or Emerald, or Ruby, one of those three.
It had to be
And the
Emerald,
Emerald.
right?
It had to be one. It was one. It was a Gen 3 game, and I remember seeing that, and I was like, "What the hell? Why is that there?"
That's sick.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
I'm into it. Thank you for bringing that to my
Yeah.
attention. But I'm not going to watch the movie
don't.
again.
Yeah, no, that movie is not good. I love how
Even for that.
I love how he makes fun of that movie like a lot throughout
Ryan Reynolds?
Deadpool. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he takes a couple stabs at it in the original movie, like at least one. I think he does it a couple times.
It's crazy how many of them are double casted in these
Yeah.
roles. Captain America,
Yeah, seriously.
Ryan
Johnny
Reynolds, Ryan
Yeah.
Reynolds,
Mhm.
Ben Affleck.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy how many of like. Why?
I think it's just experience. It's like you've been a superhero, you can be a superhero.
it's a weird call.
Let-
Where are the new people?
Let me talk about this just to end this, I feel. Bruce Wayne. Like I said, Batman might be the most important, most recognizable, one of the most important characters. I won't say
Mhm.
the most, but I'm saying American characters, properties ever made. Okay? Bruce Wayne. Who was the best Bruce Wayne? Ranking, like Pokemon. But I don't even know all of them off the like the quantity of how many portrayed it. Because then we'd have to go back in the 60s and stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's just the ones that you remember.
So originally, when me and you have spoken,
Yeah.
I've said Ben Affleck.
It's pretty good.
And the reason I
Really
say
good, honestly.
the reason I've said that is because Bruce Wayne is a jerk. Like he's
Yeah.
a rich jerk who has like a troubled past that people don't know about, so he's hard around the edges. And Ben Affleck kind of is like that. He's a womanizing, like rich jerk, right? That's kind of supposed to be Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel, truthfully, and I've thought about it, I think Christian Bale fits better. And I say that because
He's more tortured.
somebody with that on their plate in the middle of the night with,
He's a dick.
Well, listen, so having to hold those secrets like in your mind and having to go through that in your life,
What do you mean?
like you have to go and run a company and like show up at like charity events as Bruce Wayne,
Oh, yeah,
knowing you're Batman on the side and you can't tell anyone.
Right.
Christian Bale kind of portrays that better. Like
Yeah.
he's constantly he makes snide comments.
I just didn't like how
constantly.
he talked throughout those movies.
Well, that's the problem. He's that like
It's so annoying.
He has
Because
that.
Bruce Wayne's the character.
What is Christian Bale originally? He's Australian or English or something.
no,
Christian
I
Bale's
just, I just
Welsh.
didn't like that. I
So
just
he
didn't
has
like that,
that
like
for-
the like
Oh, you're talking
gross,
about the
like
Batman.
coarse. Yeah, the Batman.
But we're talking.
like,
So we're talking. So like the reason we bring this up, which we kind of didn't touch on, Batman is honestly an easy role. I could play Batman.
How
It's
do
a
you- how do you figure?
one-dimensional character role.
just because you need to be like quiet, or what do
yeah,
you mean?
he's quite. Yeah, like he talks to the police chief, and he's like, "Oh, what do we have? Like, what are the criminal identifications? Like, blah blah blah." And then he
Mhm.
disappears.
Yeah.
He says little to nothing. He's
Yeah.
a one-dimensional, boring character.
Okay.
I think a Batman is just as good as he plays only as good as Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's. I used to say I think Ben Affleck was the best,
Yeah.
and I changing that to think Christian Bale portrays the having the weight of Batman on your plate, and you can't get it off to tell anyone. He
You're
plays
saying 'cause
that better.
He's foreign.
Just because he seemed like so whooped in that
not 'cause
movie, like he
he's- not
seemed
'cause
like
he's
beat.
foreign. He just like when he's playing Bruce Wayne, he's like making a snide remark. He's quiet. He looks pissed.
Yeah, and see in those movies he like looked beat like
Yeah.
throughout those all
Yeah.
those
Tortured.
He yeah exactly. So
Yeah, he looks tortured. But traditionally in the comics, he's like playboy millionaire guy,
Mhm.
and Ben Affleck probably does that a little better.
Okay.
Well, Christian Bale was a dick in that though, like at charity events and like
That's what I said.
he's
That's
mean to people at
me.
the party. And
Yeah, to me, I like that. I think that's a better portrayal of Bruce Wayne, and it's different.
it's really good.
Different.
And I just side note, I love in the Dark Knight Rises that they harken to the Dark Knight Returns, where he's old and he's got like no cartilage in his knee and he's just like all battered and stuff. Like that's
They
so
took a
sick.
ton. The comic book. If you don't really read comics, I don't care. You still should read The Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller.
You should.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That movie, the one with Bane in it,
Yeah.
that one takes a ton from The Dark Knight Returns in it.
Okay.
It takes a ton of pieces from that, which is sick.
I like Val Kilmer.
Why do we have you
know.
on the show?
I like
Who
Val
are
Kilmer,
you?
dude. He plays a really. I love the sequences of him as Bruce Wayne trying to figure out the Riddler, and like I loved the Riddler as a kid. I really loved the Riddler. I know the
Same.
Joker's sick, but the Riddler. I
No,
remember,
I'm with you on this,
dude, and that I remember there was one VHS tape from Blockbuster I'd always rent, which is the Riddler's Maze, where Batman and Robin have to go through the Riddler's Maze. I would watch that over and over and over again. I just loved it. But anyway,
Val Kilmer is the worst.
no, he's tortured
He's
too.
maybe the worst.
He's like he's got a very.
I don't think he was very
calm-
tortured. No, not at all.
He's very cold and calculated, and I like it. And he's just.
I'll
I
agree
don't
with you
know.
on there, but he was not tortured.
He was like,
in, like
it was believable that he was Bruce Wayne, but he was also Batman, and you could tell that it was like almost like he.
I think it is kind of.
You
a
just
hard-
like Val Kilmer because you like Top Gun. I don't want to hear anymore.
Well,
Oh
from
my
you.
God.
that,
Anyway,
honestly, that doesn't have anything to do with it.
I think it
but
does.
he is great in Top Gun. Top Gun is a god tier movie.
anyway, how are you putting him up against Ben Affleck and Christian Bale?
What do you mean? Because I just did.
What does he do that's great?
Okay, look, I get it. On a look, the Dark Knight trilogy, amazing.
Yeah.
We've never seen anything like that, and it was just a perfect. Because Chris Nolan is my favorite director still. Dunkirk was great. Like he's a visionary director,
But you're sitting
and he's a good
like
at it.
Even though Batman vs Superman was junk, I'll admit it.
Like
His deal with like saving humanity for the greater good
Zack
and trying
Snyder.
to protect them from Superman. That's
I'm glad you brought that up.
That's how the comic books are.
I'm glad you brought that
Batman
up because
Batman is very good friends with Superman in the comics, but he is highly like what's the word paranoid and
Yeah.
like skeptical.
That's why he
on,
keeps
like,
kryptonite.
He's all this guy's my great best friend, like
But
or
he
my
could
best
kill
superhero
everybody.
friend, but at any moment we're fucking cooked.
yeah.
And that's him. Ben
I
Affleck
enjoyed
does that-
Justice
Ben
League for
Affleck
that
does-
reason.
Ben Affleck did that great.
Even though Justice League is
That movie
again,
stinks.
I like popcorn movies, and that movie was enjoyable. I left and I got.
Why
my
did
money's worth.
did you see
But
Justice League?
Mm.
It was pretty bad. Steppenwolf's a terrible villain. But
The
I don't
suit-
want to get into that right now.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to say this. Chris Nolan, perfect example, perfect contrast. Zack Snyder is a visionary director. If you watch Watchmen, and this is why when people tell you it wasn't like the comics, okay, you want to see something that's just like the comics, watch Watchmen.
Uh-huh.
That is frame by frame
Yeah.
the book.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the alien at the end, they make it just Dr. Manhattan does a nuclear blast in the city. Whatever. It's not a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Watchmen is not a bad movie.
It's not a good movie.
You are telling me you like the Holy Trilogy more than the Watchmen? You
Yeah, I
are, sir,
do.
are disgusting.
I like that movie.
I didn't like
I like
Watchmen.
it. I like
I didn't
Watchmen.
like it.
I like it.
I
But
didn't
that's
like
it.
it.
It's the lowest level of like for me. I like
you know
it.
why it's hard to like? Because you don't have a confliction of these characters. You don't have a Batman or a Spider-Man or
Exactly.
a symbol to like.
Yeah.
Just watch the movie
Oh,
and like
no,
it
no,
for
no,
what it is.
no. I disagree. I like the movie because
No, but I
it's
think
a
that
very
I
good-
think that kept me from
it's
enjoying
deep.
it because
It's
I
a
was
deep
just like
movie.
I was just like, what is this?
I think that kept a lot of people from enjoying it. They went into it like, oh, superhero movie.
It's
Yeah.
honestly a take on politics. It's a political drama. All
Which
the
is-
characters represent
Some grit.
different.
Has what I want.
thoughts
Has what I want. Has
politically.
some grit.
Uh-huh.
And
Has
it's,
some
but it's a
grit
deep
for
movie.
sure.
You have to dig for that.
There's people dying and dirty stuff happening in that
Yeah,
movie.
it's a good
it's
movie.
grit for sure.
But honestly, so Zack Snyder, that guy who directed that movie, did 300. Another one of my favorite movies. Definitely in my top 5.
Also written by Frank Miller.
Yeah,
Really?
amazing.
Mhm.
I have it.
Huh.
Yeah, I'll let you borrow it sometime. But it's great.
I've seen 300.
But have you read it?
No.
Yeah, the
Oh.
book
what
was
I'm saying.
written by the same guy that I was
Um,
telling you that Batman, you got to read The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
Same writer.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I got
As a
you.
history guy, it
I
just
thought he meant he was gonna let me borrow the movie. Like I haven't
No,
seen
no.
it 700
I mean, I
times.
got that too.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, as a history guy, it hits all my buttons. But I'm
Right.
just saying, Zack Snyder, perfect example, as compared to Chris Nolan. Zack Snyder's a visionary director, cannot execute, doesn't do it right, doesn't do it good. Chris Nolan is a visionary director. Every movie he makes feels like a Chris Nolan movie, but they're different and they're executed well.
Well, he's just a better director. He's more
Yeah.
talented. He's just flat out more talented.
And his cinematography, that's a big deal. Zack Snyder makes pretty movies in the sense that
His cinematography is so trash, dude. It's
Really?
straight out of the templates on Sony Vegas.
dude, no way, dude. That scene in 300,
everything's
that
in slow
unending shot,
motion.
that
Everything's in
unending shot,
slow motion.
That's true.
And there's like,
But that unending
there's-
shot's good.
There's particles of blood in slow motion flying in every scene. It's crap.
Yeah. I just
Watchmen,
think
all of it, it's
I
junk.
do think, and I know a lot of my DC brethren are like, oh, know, like, well, I want to see the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. It'll be his true vision because his daughter died in between the filming of that, and so
How much better could that movie be? That movie sucked.
Yeah,
Let's
I
be
agree.
real. That movie sucked.
But anyways, like I'm saying, like when I go to the movies, like the last movie that really I bought tickets pre-sale for was Dunkirk.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I
history
haven't
guy,
seen it. I gotta see
loved.
it. I gotta see it.
It's a great what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Old,
Yeah.
So-
and he's a
Old
half breed. He's
American.
American and British. But
Moving forward, are there any superhero movies that you guys are looking forward to?
Venom.
Venom?
Yes.
Yeah,
You
that'd
think
be
that
cool.
looks good?
I'll watch that.
I'll
Because
watch it.
Even though I've been burnt out on Spider-Man, this is
There is no
finally
Spider-Man
like
in it, I'm
I know,
pretty
but
sure.
it's like the universe is what I
Yeah.
mean. It's like finally like a new take on it.
Which
It's not
is-
just another Spider-Man movie.
I think that'll be the tie-in to because
To
I
the
was
Clone
saying
Saga, like you were
well,
saying?
the next Spider-Man potentially will be Clone Saga by rumors, and the symbiote plays a big part in that.
Okay.
and then that would make the next Avengers possibly be Secret Wars because that's in the comics where Spider-Man first gets the symbiote suit is in
Uh-huh.
the Secret Wars,
Okay.
which
Sick.
There you go.
so
Yeah.
we'll
So
see.
what about you? Anything you're excited for?
Well, if they ever make Daredevil season 3 and a Punisher season 2, yeah, those two.
No
Those were
movies,
great.
though?
Yeah,
No,
I'm talking about movies.
I mean, dude, I mean, I'll see. Like I saw Infinity War, and I mean, my wife and I went back and we watched some of the old catalog to gear up for it. But honestly, dude,
Have you seen they're doing Shazam? Have you seen that?
I haven't seen that.
Well, they're not. I mean, I don't think we have a trailer or anything yet, but it's in production.
Oh, okay.
I off the top of my head, I think Shazam is in works. Captain Marvel's obviously coming out.
I'll see
Yeah.
Captain Marvel.
I don't think there's a ton coming from any of the studios. Like, there's no continuation of the Justice League. I don't think we're getting another Wonder Woman or Batman or anything like that.
Look, this counts as a comic book movie. Top Gun 2. I'm gonna
Oh
go
my
out. I'm gonna
God.
fly up to Washington with my cousin Trevor, and we're gonna watch it.
Okay,
And
hold up.
honestly,
No. Let me get the floor. Let me get the floor.
no, give Nick the floor because I'm not
Johnny
hearing this.
spent. Don't say nothing too. You're gonna interrupt
Mm.
me. Johnny just spent the 30
Oh.
minutes prior to this saying that these rich guys with cigars will take what you like and say, "Oh, you like some Spider-Man? I'll let you in for 25 cents." Then he wants to see Top Gun 2.
There's a major difference with that. Top Gun is an original movie, and there is a plot to continue. From
Top
the
Gun
first
2 is not an original movie.
No.
Okay, it is a reboot.
It's a
Okay,
guy with a cigar
but it is
giving
not.
you
It
it.
wasn't a board game or some like ass abstract source material. So the argument
It's
is
the
invalid.
same
It is
thing.
not
It's
the
the
same
same.
thing.
It's the
same
It's
thing.
close.
No,
I will
what it
grant you
is-
it's close.
no,
but it's
what it
not
is-
the same
It's
thing.
valid
What it
because
is-
the
Nope.
argument you made was
No,
Uno,
Uno.
which doesn't even exist.
What it
but
is?
you know that you would
What-
not be surprised one bit if they made an Uno movie.
Enough. What Top
All
Gun
right, Dad.
2 is?
Now to his dad.
Yeah, what is Top Gun 2?
What Top Gun 2 is people saying, we haven't done this in a while. And then they're like, this was popular. All right, let's put 2 and 2 together.
There's
And
no-
they're just giving you another one that's going to have no context, nothing. Maybe like a flashback here, and not a flashback, but like a oh, here's a bone because you watched this movie 20 years ago.
Dude, American cinema
No.
is not what it was
No, it's
for the
not
past
gonna-
100 years.
Well, I guess I'll fall on my sword for that one, but I'm just saying in general.
You can watch
it's
it.
Not.
I'm not saying don't watch
it's
it.
not.
I'm
What
just
you're saying. I'm saying that you have a point. I'm
just saying you're a
conceding that.
hypocrite.
No, I'm not. Because it's not exactly the same
It's
argument.
exactly the
because
same.
no, it's not. Because Uno would be in taking an abstract
Oh,
source
wait.
material.
Is there not really an Uno movie coming out?
he was convincing me very heavily that there was
That's,
an
It's
Uno.
just-
I
and
would
watch, look at-
believe that. I
and
would
they-
believe that.
and
If,
like
if
Nick-
there's an emoji movie, there can be an Uno movie.
And that's what I'm saying is Nick is like he's 100% right. It'll be Dwayne Johnson and he'll be in the movie and it'll be a family setting and then he'll jump out of a helicopter because the Uno game goes wrong somehow and like
Oh
and
my
like guys with ski
God.
masks will come in and it'll be like Home Alone.
If somebody
you know?
somebody from Hollywood's gonna somehow stumble on this podcast, hear that idea.
That's a
and-
great idea. Get the Rock on the phone. I feel like that's a great way to end it, guys. Thanks so much
that
for
what we're
That's
listening.
ending
what, this is what we're ending it with. The
That
Rock,
was it.
The Rock sucks. Love you folks. Later.
See you guys.